To calculate the optimal length of the Axon tube adapter, the Tube Adapter Configuration tool is available. A Bluetooth connection to the knee joint is not necessary to use this tool. Choose the foot type that will be used for the prosthesis and the correct size. The system height of the foot is filled in automatically by X-Soft. There are two possible tube adapters. Choose between the 2R20 standard tube adapter or the 2R21 tube adapter with built-in torsion unit. A 2R19 tube adapter should be used with the Genium X3. The 2R19 has the same dimensions as the 2R20, and this is why the cutting calculations are the same. Another component selection found in the drop-down menu is named Foot Adapter. The correct option should be selected when using the 4R10 Quick Change Adapter, the 4R84 Double Adapter, or an additional adapter combination. If none of these combinations is used, click on the dashed line in the first position. For safety reasons, none of these values and positions will be transferred into the job specifications. The Tube Adapter Configuration tool calculates an insertion length of 60 mm. This allows 10 mm of additional insertion until the maximum insertion length of 70 mm is reached. From that position, the tube can be pulled out 20 mm until the minimal insertion depth. Thus, it is possible to shorten and extend the prosthesis during the alignment process. Please be aware that the minimum insertion length of the tube adapter into the knee is 40 mm. Transfer the displayed values for the cutting and insertion length to the tube adapter scale with a permanent marker. It is also recommended to mark the minimum insertion length on the tube adapter. Before the tube adapter is cut with a tube cutter, ensure that the pre-installed cap on the plug is still in place. This will prevent metal flakes or sawdust from damaging the plug. If the cap is not available, please apply something like insulation tape over the plug to protect it. Begin with low pressure when using the tube cutter and increase the pressure of the tool gradually. A sharp burr can be seen on the cut edge when finished. Stow the cable carefully in the tube and remove the burr with a file in the manner shown. Thoroughly remove the residual ridge on the inner side of the cut edge with a deburring tool when this happens. Chamfer the outside of the cut edge with a file and smooth the entire cut edge with sandpaper. Carefully pull the cable out of the tube. Remove metal flakes and sawdust. Remove the cap or insulation tape from the tube adapter plug. Stow the cable thoroughly inside the tube and connect the plug from the knee joint to the plug from the tube adapter. Be aware that the arrows on both plugs point exactly at each other. Push the connected plugs into the tube. Insert the tube adapter 60 mm into the knee joint until the marked line. Make sure that the scale on the tube is positioned in the anterior direction. The two screws of the tube clamp have to be tightened with a torque wrench to exactly 7 Nm. When the tube adapter has to be cut to the minimum cut length of 365, the cable cannot be stowed in the tube to protect it during shortening and deburring. It can be fed carefully through the distal end of tube adapter. Remove the cap temporarily from the plug to push it through the narrow end of tube adapter and replace the cap afterwards. Please pull the cable very carefully and do not force it. Now the steps shown before can be completed. Deburring with the proper tool, using a file to chamfer the edge and smooth the entire edge with sandpaper. Finally, gently push the cable back through the hole in the distal end of the tube adapter. After removing the cap from the tube adapter cable plug, The cable plug has to be stowed thoroughly inside the tube adapter. Coil the protruding cable and push it gently into the tube adapter. Do not kink the cable or try to stuff it in with a screwdriver or other tool. The plug should protrude completely beyond the cut edge and can easily be connected to the plug from the knee joint. Push the connected plugs very gently into the tube adapter. Pay attention that the plugs do not protrude above the cut edge and that the cable is not pushed out at the distal end of the tube adapter. Insert the tube adapter with the scale in the interior direction into the knee joint until the desired length. The tube adapter has to be inserted at least 40 mm into the knee joint.